My father was stopped on a highway with a couple of my siblings, with me in the back of the car, and the cops found out he was drinking, DUI, and we didn't have any relatives to take us in. So we went straight into the foster care system. I was 18 when I found out what exactly happened. That's a critical part of my life that, being taken away, I never knew why I was taken away. I went into a foster home in Charleston, South Carolina. I was like around 4. And I was climbing up on a bunk bed. One of the kids was playing around, pulled my leg, and I fell down and actually broke my thigh bone. So that opened up an investigation at the foster home, and I was taken away. At this time, I was thinking that this lady was my actual biological mother. So it was pretty tragic, being taken away from this woman that you grew up with. They had me and my half-brother go up to the front of the church and in front of the congregation, and they basically said that, these kids are up for adoption. And so I had no idea what was happening. At that time, I didn't really have a concept of what adoption was and how permanent, adoption was. So when we went into our adopted home, it was rather nice for, first couple of years. People call it the honeymoon phase. Eventually my adoptive father started hitting me and my half-brother, and I used to run away all the time for weeks at a time. And to the point where, the cops were even suggesting to my adoptive parents that, it would be best for me to be sent off to juvie, because in South Carolina, they have a law, incorrigibility. You can't handle your children, so you just send them away and put them in jail. And, I have to say, going to juvie was a salvation in a way, because I was away from the abuse that was happening with my adoptive parents. I was in juvie for about a year. Eventually, I ended up going to Lancaster, South Carolina, to a group home there when I was 15 years old. And that's when everything changed. I knew what I wanted. I knew what my clear goal was. I wanted to focus on my education. School was always my haven. Even though I was jumping around placements, the textbooks, the math never changed. So, I was 17. The group home said, we wanted you to experience a placement that gives you more independence. So ask my social worker, if I had to go to a placement, at least place me somewhere where it will be optimal for me to attend the university classes while going to the high school. Foster home was really good until eventually I realized that the foster parent was hitting the youth that was living there. And eventually I just broke one day, told the foster parent, literally you cannot be doing this. I'm gonna report you to the cops. And, and he started hitting me. He started hitting me and said, what are you going to do about it? It's your word against mine. Who's going to believe you? And it really struck me then, because the day that he told me that was the day I went to my high school awards ceremony. I was walking across the stage and just receiving my awards, and I was looking at all the other youth, students, how they're all happy with the parents supporting them. And I just remember in that moment, that's what I was thinking about. Those words that were across my mind that, nothing you say really mattered because your voice is powerless. So I ended up leaving the foster care system May 29th of 2012. I was 19 years old. The way I was able to cope was able to face the reality that I might not ever have a regular teenage life. I might not ever have parents in my life. And facing that reality front on was how I cultivated the right resiliency that allowed me to garner the successes I've gained so far.